2 hours ahead of us. An endurance race, this with pit stops to come. They have to make one 3-minute pit stop, and that cannot be made in the first 30 or the final 15 minutes of the race, or under safety car conditions. So a bit to think about there. And the cars have to be stationary for a minimum of 3 minutes, longer in the case of certain drivers who've got success penalties from previous races. So Rob Baker's got 30 seconds, Wayne Lawson and James Pickford have 20, Will Puttergill and Chris Nyland have 10. Those are the drivers from Class A. From Class B, the Mead number 14 car has 30 seconds, the Osman and House BMW has 10 seconds, and in Class C, Johnny Hayes and Paul Subiani, the championship leaders, they have a 30-second extra penalty to serve. There on screen you can see the number 269 car being driven by Richard Hammond of Top Gear and Grand Tour fame, and taking part in this race in the Mazda MX-5 that he'll be sharing with Lewis Packham today. But we're waiting for the start of the race now. The car's coming through the corkscrew, the safety car has pulled into the pit lane, the red lights are on the gantry across the start and finish line, and the race about to get underway. And it's Wayne Lawson and Will Puttergill that are going wheel to wheel at the start of this race. It's Lawson that's leading into the first corner in the orange Audi. It's the mainly blue car in second place of Will Puttergill, and they're heading off up towards the first corner. Action a bit further down. It's still, yes, the orange car that is in front as the cars make their way through the banking for the first time. There you can see the 269 car of Richard Hammond going through. He's alongside the 169 car of Matthew Simonite, but here are the two leaders as they thunder up towards Rocket for the first time.
It's fantastic, isn't it, to see these two beautifully turned Audis ahead of the Golf in third, and Parkins in the mix with the Audi T2. It's a VAG fest because Baker's the Baker and Woodhouse car is there as well, another of the Golfs. But it's a VAG top 5 boats. There's a BMW in there. We've got the Simonson Porsche as well. But Wayne Lawson leading in the hand-controlled Audi.
Yeah, and is he still going to be leading by the end of the lap? It looks like he is, but very close run thing with William Puttergill just behind him. Then it's the 23 car, Simon Mason in the Cupra TCR, and Scott Parkin in that diesel Audi TT in fourth, and Luke Woodhouse in the number 100 car in fifth position. As I say, won in Road Sports yesterday in a different car. This is the car I think that Rob Baker took to success at Silverstone a few weeks ago, in the Road Sports race there. And yes, only 2 minutes into this 2-hour race. There we can see a bit of movement down the order, pick up what's going on there. We're getting a change, are we? Yes, so Scott Parkin's getting ahead of Puttergill, and already Simon Mason had got ahead of Puttergill as well. So that's what was going on. Mason's up to second, Scott Parkin's up to third, and Puttergill, the championship leader in Class A, having had 2 third place finishes so far this season, down to 4th spot. And then it's Rob Baker, or Luke Woodhouse more to the point at the moment, in 5th position. So through the sinuous sequence at the corkscrew they go. Simon Mason's made up 1 position already in this race. Is he going to be able to make another and get ahead of Wayne Lawson here? Through Target they go for the first time in the races so far this season. We had Scott Parkin won the opening race of the season at Croft. Rob Baker and Alistair Camp shared the car, the Golf, at Silverstone, and took the victory there. Puttergill and Nyland have had 2 third place finishes, say, but second places, Chris Ballard and Simon Mason were second at Croft. Lawson and Pickford were second at Silverstone.
Simon Mason looks like he's on the warpath. He's right up there alongside, tries to outbrake, goes up the inside into Rocket, takes the lead from Wayne Lawson, and Scott Parkin is there as well, nibbling away in the black and red Audi TT. The Dark Side Developments car is in very good fettle.
Yeah, it's going well here. So had that win at Croft at the beginning of the season. Scott Parkin, the driver from South Yorkshire, and he's up the inside of Wayne Lawson, and he takes the place. So he goes to second place. Great move that at the corkscrew. Bold manoeuvre there to get ahead of Wayne Lawson. And Scott Parkin probably wanting to not see Simon Mason get too far away, dives up to take second place at the corkscrew. So at the end of lap number 3 now, it's 23 Simon Mason leading, 13 Scott Parkin second, 19 Wayne Lawson third, 100 Luke Woodhouse is fourth, and the Hudskill car's down to fifth. I wonder if all is not well with that car, because it's gone backwards.
Ginetta off the track, the Ginetta Coupe. It's now back on again. It's flicked onto our screens.
Yes, this is the third event of 6 that we'll be having this season. Alton Park, Snetterton and Donington Park to come before the end of the year. The Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship has been running for several seasons now, since 2018. It's gained a lot of popularity over the years and regularly getting grids of around about 30 cars, even at one of the further flung venues such as Anglesey Circuit. And it's run in 3 different classes, of course, as well. And that is based on power to weight ratio. So Class A is for cars of up to 300 brake horsepower per tonne. Class B, the limit is 240, and Class C, the limit is 180. Not so many of the Class B and C cars as there are Class A cars here this weekend, but still reasonable numbers across all of them. Simon Mason's done the best lap of the race now. He's in the lead at 1:13.479. He was over a second faster than Scott Parkin on that last lap. There's Richard Hammond. This race being filmed for some broadcast content. Got his film crew with him, following him around, and he'll be sharing the car, this 269 car, with Lewis Packham. We'll see out in the second part of the race. They qualified pretty well, actually, and at the moment Richard Hammond is running in 27th position overall and 6th within his class. Thumbs up, I think, to the team as he crosses the line. He's done some racing in historics, and here's sampling Club Enduro for the first time with the 750 Motor Club. In 6th position, he's been shown a clean pair of heels by the likes of Matthew Simonite and also Nick Wright in the Honda Civic within that class, though, so far in this race. There is one of the cars that got the better of him. That was the Nick Wright Honda Civic that he shares with Keith Fryer. But Hammond heading through the right-hander up the hill now towards Rocket. Is in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He's not got any cars too far or too close to him, either ahead or behind. Curious,
did you get that waft of brake pad which came through the commentary box window? Quite something. Some super BMWs in this field, including this glorious E30 M3, the Senna Osman and Jodie House car. Classic M3. That's the 481 going through there later on the 36 by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's the car of Edward Christie. He started that car, drive from London. He's just behind the Nick Wright car. So Nick Wright's actually just got ahead of the Christie BMW there. Christie's car is a Class B car, whereas Nick Wright's actually a Class C, so doing a little bit of giant killing there.
Simerson's moving in on the number 1 car, I notice. Number 1 being Oliver Harris in the BMW, but Simerson, the Porsche, has caught him. And they're into Laffery now, and the speed differential is quite something. Scott Parkin goes around the outside of the little Ginetta and now goes to the right of one of the Mazdas going up towards Rocket. And Wayne Lawson picks his way through with the car of Luke Woodhouse in there as well. That's the fabulous Area Motorsport Golf.
And there you can see the race leader already getting into the traffic. What are we on? Lap 7, and already the race leaders, Simon Mason and Scott Parkin, getting in amongst the traffic. He's got parking going past Richard Hammond there. As they turn my Phil and gets a big slide through the corkscrew. Manages to control that and will come through to complete another lap. But his deficit is building already to the racing to Simon Mason. It's now up to 4.3 seconds at the end of 7 laps of racing.
Oh, that was tight as Wayne Lawson went up the inside of Richard Hammond into target.
Fortunately avoided him. Would have made good tally. Scott Parkin has cleared that BMW as well. Class B, we've not seen much of Class B front runners yet, but it's Ben Brooks in the number 34 car, the Lotus Elise, the drive from Wakefield leading in that class, from the number 14 car in second, which is Stuart Mead and Tim Hartland. That's the duo that are ahead in the championship at the moment in Class B. And there is Wayne Lawson, and he's got Luke Woodhouse right behind him now in this all VAG battle. Turning their way through Peel. You can see Will Pottergill in the background, and then behind them you've got the number 1 car of the teenagers, Oliver Harris. Through. Over the line goes the Wayne Lawson car again. Somebody in third place, that number 19, the orange BMW, orange Audi I should say. Prepared and run by Motion Motorsport. And that 100 car is the Area Motorsport car just behind, the Golf TCR. Driven by former time attack racer Luke Woodhouse.
Extravagant wings on some of the Mazda MX-5s, open or closed. It seems they can run with big wings. I wonder how that varies the aero of the 2 specifications of car formats, if you like. The closed one's probably got to be better.
Yeah, you should think so. As we're watching Luke Woodhouse there, not too far behind Wayne Lawson, keen to try and find a way through, almost overlapping through there. Simon Mason splits 2 back markers as he goes across the line.
One was the M3,
the car.
Which is the Senna Osman car. Will Pottergill has got himself back onto the back of the tussle between Lawson and Woodhouse.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the fight going on for 3rd, 4th and 5th position. And just behind them you can see Oliver Harris in the BMW number 1, and then Paul Simerson number 55 in the Porsche GT4 RS Club Sport. Here comes Luke Woodhouse, tries to move on the outside at Rocket, but can't find a way past Wayne Lawson there. Wayne Lawson due to hand over to James Pickford in the 2nd part of the race. Very rapid driver James Pickford in a variety of machinery, including the precursor to F1000 quite a few years ago now. Also raced the Seat Coopers that had their TV series made about them 20 years ago now. Coming up to a quarter of an hour gone in this race, and it's Simon Mason leading by 5.2 seconds in the car is shown with Chris Byallen. Scott Parkin second, number 13, third number 19 Wayne Lawson. In Class B it is the number 34 car that still leads, which is Ben Brooks, showing with Lee, Tim Hartland and Stuart Mead second, and Alex Wilkinson Hughes and Dave Connell third within Class B. Class C at the moment is being headed by the championship leaders, Johnny Hayes and Paul Sibioni. Johnny Hayes in the wheel at the moment, with Charlie Hayes in second, and third in that class at the moment, Thomas Stedman in his Mazda MX-5.
Yeah, that Hayes and Sibiani partnership, Canadian-Italian, aren't they?
Mm.
Sort of in the window of the car.
Yep, and been successful in this championship on and off for a while now. They were third overall in the championship last year, so they've got some pedigree behind them. As we're watching the number 14 car going through at the moment, so that is the car that leads, or is second I should say, in Class B. Tim Hartland at the wheel at the moment of that Volkswagen Scirocco. How far behind? About 8 seconds behind the class leader, which is Ben Brooks, number 34, in the class leading Lotus Elise. Tim Hartland, long time racing VW machine. I remember seeing him in the VW Golf Mark IIs quite some time ago. Looks to be a bit more modern now with that Scirocco. Smart looking car. And there is the 97 car. That's the car that's third in Class B. So that's Alex Wilkinson Hughes, who started the Mazda MX-5. We just saw a shot of that going through. Shares the car with Dave Connell, who has listed necessarily a bad luck they've had with that car. Running out of fuel at Croft last year, having a fire at Silverstone last year, and they spent months rebuilding and rewiring the car to then win at Alton Park and finished third overall there. This year's aim, I say, is not to have any fires and not run out of fuel, which is probably setting your bar fairly low, and you won't be too disappointed. There's that Heartland Scirocco going through. Stuart Mead, it is that shares that car, will be out later on after the pit stops, which can't occur until at least 30 minutes into the race, the mandatory stops. Scott Parkin seems to have pegged the lead at about 5 seconds now. Not getting too much further away from Simon Mason, the lead of the race. One car just going past our commentary box. That's the car being driven by Carlo Turner initially. That was the car that brought an early checkered flag in the road sports race yesterday when it was leaking fuel, and it stopped at the exit of the final corner. The checkered flag flown about 3 minutes early. There's Will Puttergill trying to get past one of the back markers. But you can see now he's got the number 1 car of Oliver Harris, the German Auto Works car, right behind him. And 55 Paul Simonson in the Porsche not too far away. And separating them is the treble 3 Mazda MX-5 there.
Oliver Harris has worked really diligently to pick his way back to Puttergill and is able to capitalise in the traffic.
Yep, so 5.7 seconds the gap between the two leaders. About 10 seconds back then to Pickford in third, to Walt Lawson in third, who we just saw go through a shot there.
Paul Simonsen's trying to catch that group, and maybe with 4 of them ahead of him to slow themselves down into the corners, may be able to make some progress now in the Porsche Cayman.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Simonsen, sometime Ferrari racer as well. Out in that number 55 Porsche though, running in 7th place at the moment. Next car in that class, a little bit further back, is Joe Williams in the number 88 Seat Cooper TCR for the driver from Leominster. But there is Simonsen going through shot there, you can see, in the number 55 car. 49-year-old from Leicester, started racing 7 years ago. Did road sports at Club Enduro the last 2 years. Has done Ferrari Challenge UK and Ferrari Challenge Europe as well. And this car prepared by Simon Green Motorsport. And it was purchased specifically to race in the Club Enduro Championship. Racing single-handed this weekend. There's the race leader, Simon Mason, number 23. Lead now 6.1 seconds. We'll be handing over to Chris Byallen in the second part of the race.
I think I saw Puttergill just get demoted by Harris in the BMW at Rocket.
Okay, let's have a look out of our window, see if we can pick that up. Well, they're side by side actually as they head through the corkscrew, but it's the BMW ahead, yes. Here they are on screen now, ahead of the Audi. And Simpson's with them as well, so the three cars together for 5th, 6th and 7th. It's now Oliver Harris, Will Puttergill and Paul Simpson right together, BMW, Audi and Porsche. Absolutely fantastic, sounds like a big GT race, doesn't it, with those three cars battling it out. And they are turning their way through the banking to absolutely together for 5th, 6th and 7th places. 10 seconds clear of Joe Williams, who's next up in 8th position. And we can see here the car of Harris, German Auto Works car, the number 1 car, just ahead of Puttergill as they're turning their way through Rocket once again. See the 42 car, that's being driven by Dan Jude at the beginning of the race. The Lotus, that was a late entry to the programme. Here you can see them just going past the Ginetta now. That's the Class C entrant of Daniel Gibson and John Dundee. Where is that running? It is running in 28th position, 7th in Class C at the moment. Just ahead of the treble-driven car, the only treble-driven car in the race, which is the 207.
Better change to 3rd, haven't we? Because Woodhouse is up to 3rd.
Yes, yeah, he's up to 3rd, that's right, ahead of Lawson. So that's just happened on that lap. Car number 100 getting up to 3rd position. See if we can break away now. Is 13 seconds behind Scott Parkin. I think the success penalties could come into the equation here, but Baker and Woodhouse, they're going to have 30 seconds. Parkin doesn't have any penalty this weekend, so that's helpful to him. Simon Mason and Chris Byallen don't have a penalty either this weekend. So with that car out in the lead at the moment, that's boding very well for that duo. Simon Mason, the leader, 55-year-old from Manchester. Started racing in 1999, multiple 24-hour race winner in racing the BMW 2002 Challenge. He was the class champion in 1992, Brit Car class champion in 2008. Nearly won the British GT4 championship as well. Lives, eats and breathes motor racing, he says, and has done for 36 years. And able to keep racing thanks to the kindest man he knows, Chris Byallen. Able to race this amazing Cooper TCR with the wonderful Motion Motorsport team. There's the 481 car, a bit further back down the order, Edward Christie in the E36. He's got the 269 car just behind him now, that's Richard Hammond. And this is the battle for 26th place overall. So it's a Class B car, the orange BMW, just ahead of the Hammond's Class C, smallest cog, 269 Mazda MX-5. Still at Class B is the domain of Ben Brooks in the number 34 car. He's at the head of that class at the moment. We've had 23 minutes of the race. Simon Mason still leading in car 23, also got the fastest lap of the race as well. Number 13, Scott Parkley in second. Number 100, Luke Woodhouse now third. Number 19, Wayne Lawson is fourth. Oliver Harris, number 1, is fifth. 83, Will Puttergill is sixth. Ben Brooks leading Class B, number 34 from number 14, Tim Hartland, and the number 97 car of Alex Wilkinson Hughes. Class C, still Johnny Hayes, number 66 from Charlie Hayes, number 24, and Thomas Stedman, the treble 3 car. fantastic backdrop of the mountains of North Wales. The background to the Anglesey circuit here, located between Rhysnigert and Aberffrwm on the southwest coast of Anglesey. It's a former army base. Was originally used for motorcycle racing and rallycross. As the 169 car comes into the pits, that's going to head straight into the garage by the looks of it. And that is Matthew Simonite's MX-5. So it looks like that car has had dramas. The 38-year-old from Sheffield. Started racing in 2012 and prepared by Mansell Racing, that car. And there's the battle for second in Class B, because Alex Wilkinson-Hughes in the bereaved Mazda MX-5 has caught number 14 Tim Hartland. So that's an exciting scrap.
Simonson has just cut the grass at Rocket, trying to get on terms with Puttergate. He's slipstreamed up the hill behind the Audi. We're on 20 laps now, Ian, on your screen?
Yes, 20 laps down after 25 minutes of racing. So what are we going to get? We're going to get probably 90 or so laps in this race, aren't we? In the 120 minutes that we have available to us. We've got to allow for 3 minutes pit stop, so that's going to cost that's part of 3 laps for the quickest cars. 3 minutes stationary in the pit lane. And of course there's the possibility of a safety car intervention as well. Yesterday's 90-minute race, for the GT and Sports Car Cup, for the classics cars of the 1960s, we had 3 safety car interruptions. But touch wood, so far it's been good, clean racing with no need for any intervention. There was at one point some concern over some smoke from Jan Whittaker's Porsche, but that's been looked at, I think, and they've concluded that one's okay. There is the 333 car, that's Thomas Stedman. Welsh name, but based in Stratford-on-Avon. He is running 3rd in Class C at the moment, quite a way clear of Nick Wright's Honda Civic that's 4th in that class. Points are scored in the individual classes, of course, rather than based on overall finishing positions in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. And teams can drop 1 score. So it's best 5 out of 6 scores count at the end of the season. There's those 2, Hartland and Wilkinson-Hughes, putting a lap on Michael Downey's car, which is from the same class, number 76. They're now, 1 lap ahead of the orange Porsche. The drive from Scotland. Also within Club Enduro, as well as the main competition, there's also the Clubman Cup, and that is for cars that produced before 2010 with H-pattern or production DSG gearboxes. There's cars from any of the classes. Stuart Mead and Tim Hartland Scirocco actually leading that class at the moment. Wayne Lawson here has been caught by Oliver Harris, so this is for 4th position now. Always suspected that Lawson may drop back in the earlier stages because James Pickford is expected to be the quicker driver of the 2. But Wayne, with the hand controls, going well here, putting a lap there on Hammond. And Lawson now under threat from Oliver Harris. The Harris car lapping a couple of tenths of a second faster at the moment, although Lawson's fast lap is half a second better than that of Harris. Scott Parkin's going past our commentary position to put his 23rd lap in the books. He's now 10.5 seconds behind the race leader. Dark Side Developments car, as we're watching the Motion Motorsport car, the RS. 3 TCR of Wayne Lawson doing its best to keep the BMW of Oliver Harris behind. It is a tricky circuit to overtake at Anglesey compared to some others. We've been hearing other drivers telling us that during the course of this weekend. Coming up to the point at which the pit lane window opens, so we'll start to see drivers come in to make their pit stops. Those that are going solo, will they go for an early stop? So the element of strategy about by being able to stop in the safety car not really available in this race, because it's not permitted to make your mandatory stop behind the safety car. If the safety car goes out when you're in the pits, that is okay, but you can't make your stop once the safety car has gone out. You could sort of anticipate that there might be one though, but at this point, because that might gain you an advantage, or it might just put you at the end of the pit lane waiting for a safety car queue to clear. The red lights will typically be on at the end of the pit lane until the safety car queue has gone past.
Great battle that between Lawson and Harris and Puttergill and Simonson, isn't it? That's very colourful. 4 great cars, really well driven, and they're circulating swiftly.
Watching Scott Parkin at the moment in the number 13. For the Ryan not racing here this weekend. It's Scott.
Simonson closing in on Puttergill as they come up the hill, and the Porsche looks just a little bit quicker through the curve beforehand, but Puttergill brakes and holds him back.
Yes, so still holding on to 6th position, that will be. Camera shot, so there is Parkin going through.
Into the second half hour now of this 2-hour race.
There's the car that's in 3rd position, that's the Golf of Luke Woodhouse, 15 seconds behind Scott Parkin, and a good chunk of time again ahead of Wayne Lawson as well. Yeah, 8 seconds ahead of Wayne Lawson. Yet to see anyone come in to make their mandatory stop. I saw Matthew Simler in pits to retire from the race about 10 minutes or so ago. So here's Class C MX5, not going to make it to the checkered flag. It was very definite that that was race over for him. He drove straight into the pit garage. No working on the car in the pit lane to get it back out. There's Luke Woodhouse sharing that car with Rob Baker. And the last time out at Silverstone, it was Alistair Camp that was sharing with him. And he puts a lap on the Mazda MX-5 there. Now he's going to catch, or has caught, the 481 car of Edward Christie as well. And he goes through on the inside. So, great racing as ever at the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship.
That area Motorsport Golf on your screens is just immaculately turned out, isn't it? Can't remember the area cars coming out in the Civic Cup. They were the Type R Trophy years ago, and then building into these PAG cars from the Honda EP3s, etc.
Yes, and had a few different cars down the years. And of course, Rob Baker's had success with showing with Carl Swift in particular in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship in the past.
Just through again, number 23.
Yeah, Rob Baker won the championship 3 straight years from 2020 to 2022, showing with Carl Swift in the Seat Leon throughout that 3-year period. It's the 269 car still of Hammond. Continuing on for the first half of this race. Change.
Harris is now the head of that group, isn't he? Up into 4th place is Harris from Tegiwa.
Yeah, Wayne Lawson lost 2 places on that last lap. So he's dropped down. It was a slightly slower lap, not disastrously slow, but a 1:18 it was for Wayne Lawson. That's also his conceded track position to Oliver Harris and to Will Tegiwa now.
He'll try and pick them back off again. He's got Simerson now all over that, and Simerson goes past into Rocket in the Porsche, the Cayman GT4 Club Sport.
I wonder if the tyres on that car have passed their best now, more than half an hour into this race. It's been, or if there's some other issue with the car, because it's been quite a sudden deterioration in terms of its track position. Oh, we've got one into the pits. It's Dan Jude coming in the number 42 car. So he's the first to stop. He's showing that both Mark Rayner, the Lotus Elise. That car was 7th in Class B when it came in. There's the 88 car of Joe Williams. He's running in 8th position at the moment. So he's about a minute behind the lead. So that's the thick end of a lap behind, because the lap for the leaders is less than 1:15 on the best lap. Just about 3/4 of a lap behind. Scott Parkins just coming through to complete his 29th lap. He's just put a lap on the front running Class B cars. That's the 14 car of Tim Hartland. There we can see Joe Williams in that 88 car. Good to see Joe out there, the 37-year-old mechanic from Leominster. Started racing in 2020 in Motorsports and Club Enduro. He's done some autograss racing as well in the background. It's a 2019 Cooper TCR, 2-litre turbocharged engine, raced in TCR UK by Bruce Winfield. Joe bought it in late 2024. So it's now their 2nd season with the car. The Williams race team supported by Valin Motorsport. Sponsored by Leominster VAG Tech, the Volkswagen Audi Group specialist in that part of Herefordshire. Listed his favourite circuit is Alton Park. Well, that's where the next round of the championship is going to be held. A 100-minute race on the 25th of July as part of BMW Live. Bringing that to an Alpha Live, of course.
30 laps down for our leader.
Yes, and Simon Mason's had a very strong start to this race. Oh, and Richard Hammond has had a moment, I can see, on the far side of the circuit. He's just got back onto the track now. He's off on the grass on the exit of Church Corner. But Richard Hammond now back into the race, number 269. So he's had a little moment there on the exit of Church. Didn't manage to make contact with anything, fortunately. Yeah, at the end of 30 laps, it's an 11.8 second lead for Simon Mason over Scott Parker. And there's the recovering Hammond.
Simerson had a look at Tegiwa into target, but thought better of it. The bewinged 333 Mazda is into the pits.
Yes, that's from, I think, 3rd position in Class C. Thomas Stedman So only the second car to come in, actually. Still plenty of pit window remaining. It will stay there until 15 minutes ago, so there's more than an hour of window remaining. And now the 269 car comes in, so that is Richard Hammond into the pit lane. And he's going to join the MX-5 that's already there, the Treble 3 car of Thomas Stedman. Is it going to be a driver change for that Treble 3 car as well? There's Hammond in the pits. Now he's not getting out of the car, so I think he must just be concerned that there's a problem. That's possibly what put the car off at Church Corner on the previous lap. It doesn't look like they're going to do a driver change at this juncture. Richard just explaining to the team he thinks might be wrong. And they're looking at the left rear. They're looking to take the wheel, loosen the wheel nuts on that. Tyre pressure is being taken elsewhere. They're going to put him back out in the race. So yeah, tighten the wheel nuts, I think. We're going to send him back out into the race. So that's the 269 car of Richard Hammond. An unscheduled stop then for him. He'll go back out into the race for a bit longer at least. So we've got just under 80 minutes of the race left to go here. About a third of the way through. It's 23 Simon Mason that leads, 13 Scott Parkin is second, 100 Luke Woodhouse is third, number 1 Oliver Harris is fourth, 83 Will Pussegill is fifth, and 55 Paul Simerson is sixth. Class B, that's being led by 34 Ben Brooks, from number 14 Tim Hartland, and numbers 97 Alex Wilkinson Hughes. And Class C, being led by number 66 Johnny Hayes, from number 24 Charlie Hayes, and up to third in Class C will go Nick Wright in the Honda Civic, Thomas Stedman having come into the pits. Who's back out on track now, I think, in the Treble 3 Mazda MX-5. I don't know whether they executed their driver change or not to hand over to Michael Hooper. Interested to see if we do get any more pit stops anytime soon. Settle down a little bit at the front of the field, so maybe that's what we need to mix things up a little bit now. So it's a mandatory 3-minute stop. Refueling, of course, is permitted under carefully controlled conditions. Well, that looked like that was a recovery from a spin for William. For Will Pussegill there, William Pussegill. So he had a moment up at Rocket. Now he's rejoined just ahead of Wayne Lawson. So I think he's lost out to Paul Simerson there. Yeah, Paul Simerson's gone through in the Porsche, up into 5th place now. So Pussegill, who is the class championship leader coming into this weekend with Christopher Nyland, has had a moment there, and they've been on the podium in both of the races so far this season, 3rd place in both of those, but they're going to have their work cut out here if they're going to do the same again. There's the 24 car going through. That's Charlie Hayes. That's the 2nd place car in Class A, the BMW E36 328i for the 2 drivers, Charlie Hayes and Marcus Bruce from Shrewsbury. Good to see them out this weekend. Now there is the 297 car. That's Jan Whittaker in 14th. He's just been lapped, I think, by Wayne Lawson in the orange hand-controlled Audi. There's number 3, that's the car of Daniel Gibson and John Dundee, the blue Gilletta G40 with a 2-litre engine. It was a Gilletta Racing Drivers Club car. Dan prepares the car and shares it with John. From Stevenage and Peterborough respectively. Car running in 25th overall at the moment and 5th place in Class C. A relatively humble model of Ginetta. Usually pretty reliable. Hour and a quarter left in the race now. There's Joe Williams again, the Leinster man. He's just going to put a lap on that number 3 car, the Ginetta. And there goes that 24 BMW of Charlie Hayes again. Just trying to see, is that the first time that car's been out this season? No, it's not. They were out at Silverstone as well. Recording a finish there. So that was a good first event for them. They weren't at Croft for the opening meeting of the season. Silverstone was a chance to race on the Grand Prix circuit.
Lawson back ahead of Tegiwa.
Yeah, so he did make it through in the aftermath of Tegiwa's off up at Rockies, I think. Didn't sort of get ahead immediately in that incident, but maybe Tegiwa's car not behaving as it should do 100%. Into the pits comes Scott Parkin from 2nd place, so the first of the leading contenders. Also coming in this time is the 207 car. That's a car being shared by 3 drivers. That's the Tom Illingworth car. He'll come over into hand either to Reese Cashmore or Oliver Evans. But Scott Parkin, a significant pit stop for him. So he's going to be stationed for 3 minutes. No pit stop success penalty for him. So that means that Luke Woodhouse is now up to 2nd position on the road.
Yeah.
We've got a car stopped here, Marcus. That's the 171 car, and that is Senna Osman in the E30 M3, the blue and yellow car, and that is stopped, I think, at Rocket. Yeah, so it's on the edge of the circuit, so only probably a car's width away from the edge of the track. So the marshals might have a look at that.
Tegiwa into the pits.
Yeah, in the number 83 car. And I wonder if others might make a move. Seeing that car at the side of the circuit, they might almost try and anticipate a safety car here. Can't make a stop once the safety car's out, but you could possibly try and sneak in before it does come out. There's just no guarantee that it will go out. So the car is cleared. And they're doing some work on the front left. They're going to change the wheels and tyres there. Looks like they might be doing that. Put some fresh rubber on for the second part of the race. You can see the wheel that's undone individually. It's much slower change than in Formula 1, of course. Making sure it's on firmly and then reattaching all of the nuts one by one. I can't help but feel that Formula 1 would be immeasurably improved by wheel changes like this. But there we go. And now the safety car does come out, Marcus.
Okay, so leader's done what,
37 laps.
37 laps, yeah.
So this means that no drivers can, well, they can come into the pits, but it won't count as a mandatory stop if they do. You see, the safety car's not yet exited the pit lane, to wait there to pick up the leader. Where is the leader at the moment? Simon Mason. He's just coming down through the corkscrew, I think.
This is his 38th time, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Simon Mason.
And the Golf has gone, the safety car has gone,
yeah,
to pick up Simon Mason.
Yeah, and Simon Mason's seen the yellow flags, he's seen the safety car board, so he'll be expecting the Golf to be around the corner. You can see Scott Parkin, so he got this pit stop in now. Whether that was fortuitous timing or he'd spotted the car there and thought there might be a safety car here, not quite sure. It feels like a long time, 3 minutes stationary in the middle of a race, doesn't it?
Had the Golf come in as well?
No.
Well, I'm trying to see where that is, because we've got Oliver Harris now showing as second.
There's still got Woodhouse showing second here. And then all I have to say, Woodhouse has just gone past.
Yeah.
And Harris is just coming through. Drivers keeping well away from the rescue or recovery truck that's now headed out onto the circuit to hopefully recover that that car up at the top of the hill at Rocket. So with 49 minutes of the race gone, the leader is number 23 Simon Mason. In second place is number 100 now Luke Woodhouse. Third is number 1 Oliver Harris. Fourth is number 19 Wayne Lawson. Fifth is number 88 Joe Williams. In sixth place is our Class B leader, number 34 Ben Brooks. Seventh is number 47, that's Robert Greenwood. Eighth is number 97 Alex Wilkinson Hughes, second in Class B. So he's got ahead now of Tim Hartland, number 14, who's third in Class B and ninth overall. And completing the top 10 is 101, which is Carlo Turner. A bit further back in Class C, it's the number 66 car of Johnny Hayes in 17th overall, ahead of Charlie Hayes, 24, in 19th. And Thomas Stedman has retained actually third place in Class C, despite that pit stop in the 333 Mazda MX-5. Now, a few cars there waiting at the end of the pit lane, including Scott Parkin and Paul Simerson, I see, in the Golf, in the Golf, and the Porsche, and the
Patagon Island car is there as well. I didn't see whether they did a driver change or not.
I imagine they would have done. And they'll have to wait here until the safety car queue has gone by.
Just one mandatory stop.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for these 120-minute races, it's an extra up in the if we have a longer race. So there's a few more cars still to come through the corkscrew before the 4 that are at the end of the pit lane can be released. The light should turn green at the end of the pit lane. Joe Williams, I think, is going to be the last car still circulating. Yeah, green light at the end of the pit lane. And Scott Parkin heads out with the 207 Mazda and Paul Simerson Porsche and Chris Nyland now in the number 88 Audi next up. And we could see there the recovery truck was on scene and ready to pick up the Senna Osman number 171 E30 M3. Great shame that car has expired. Probably the oldest car in the race, I would think.
Yes, I would think so. Yeah.
E30 is from the early 90s, I guess.
I remember driving one back from an Evolution version from Doon Hill Climb to Hampshire.
Quite a trek.
Which was a one-stop strategy. It was absolutely wonderful.
So hopefully the safety car is not going to be out for too long. And I imagine they'll be able to tow that BMW back. That certainly looks to be the intention. So it might only have a relatively short safety car interlude. There's the German Auto Works team. They're ready for Oliver Harris to hand over to Jack Collins. That's the car in third position. Now, of course, you can't follow the safety car in. You have to wait for one more lap after the safety car has come in to then be able to make your stop. So it's going to be at least 2 more laps, I think, before they can do a driver change. The Senna Osman car's on the move now. Not under its own steam. The Kent-based team of Senna Osman and Jodie House. A long trip back to the southeast for them. Drivers waiting their turn in the pit lane.
The House family has been involved with building competition BMWs for many a long year. I remember Barney House doing them as well. And the M3, such an iconic car in touring car history throughout the world.
Here's an unscheduled stop. It's for the 297 car of Jan Whittaker, and he will be handing over to Mark Enoch for the second half of the race. But it looks like they've covered the tyres because they're planning to fuel it, but of course this cannot count as the mandatory stop, but maybe he's just running out of fuel and that they needed to put some in. So this is obviously going to compromise their race.
We're pretty much
fourth in Class B.
Pretty much on halfway, aren't we?
Yeah, just 6 minutes shy of halfway. So you have to have the extinguisher on standby, the wheel and tyre covered, obviously in the event of a fuel spillage, and the hot brakes of course there could cause a fire, which we're obviously keen to avoid. One jug of fuel has gone in. Is that going to be deemed enough? Will they put more in? Some activity in the pit lane. Safety car lights are off meanwhile because the Osborne BMW is back in. So safety car pulling in, and Chris Byallen is going to see the green flag. So only really two and a bit laps behind the safety car there. So a short interlude, and racing back underway. Simon Mason's lead reduced to 7.2 seconds as a result of that. It was much healthier than that, of course. It's always the hazard in an endurance race like this. So let's see where Parkin is now 19th, 3 laps behind. Simerson's 3 laps behind. Pottergill is 3 and a bit laps behind. And I did think a pit stop in this race would cost you 3 laps. It's 3 minutes stationary. I'm not sure they've actually gained anything from having part of their pit stop served while the safety car was out. There's our race leader though, number 23, Simon Mason, the 55-year-old simulator expert, as he describes himself, from Manchester, supported by his wife Kate, son Keith and dog Pepper. More fuel going into the Whittaker Enoch number 297 Porsche Cayman. I imagine that will probably do in terms of fuel. And off on that first lap, 3 seconds has been made up by Simon Mason on Luke Woodhouse. Into the pits has come Alex Wilkinson Hughes from second in Class B in the Mazda MX-5. Oh, and there's been some contact there, and that is Wayne Lawson.
Yeah, it's Lawson up the inside of the yellow E36 BMW. So they went into target. There was a tag, and both spun out.
So that is drama because it involves the Class C leaders. They've been involved in that as well. Johnny Hayes and Paul Supioni. Johnny Hayes at the wheel of that at the moment. And yeah, Wayne Lawson still in the car because that car was yet to make its stop. So yes, a bit of contact there at target turn 1, and as you can see, a bit more activity in the pit lane now as well. There's Richard Hammond out of the 269 car and on duty with the extinguisher, just in case of any fire. Hopefully, he won't be called into action, but a precaution that's required as part of the refuelling regulations. Into the pits. Oh, that's quick into the pit lane for number 1, Oliver Harris. There is a pit lane speed limit, and Scott Parkin was among the drivers yesterday who fell foul of that in the road sports race and had a penalty added to their time. There's the 269 car of Hammond being refueled, and he's going to be handing over to his co-driver for the second half of the race. That's Lewis Packham. 269 car, and in now comes Wayne Lawson to hand over to, and also Johnny Hayes to hand over to Paul Subiani as well. So that is several of the leading contenders now in. Simon Mason and Luke Woodhouse still out there. Simon Mason's certainly going to do at least one more lap before he hands over to Chris Byallen. We're still not quite at the halfway mark of the race. 61.5 minutes left to go. Is Luke Woodhouse going to come in this time? No, he's not. He's going to stay out as well. Back into the pits goes the new driver, Lewis Packham, into the 269 car, having taken over from Richard Hammond. Feverish work down in the pits by a number of teams here to get their cars back out for the second part of the race. The Ginetta is coming in, that's the number 3 car of Daniel Gibson, Ginetta G40. You'll just see that coming through the back of shot there. That will be to hand over to the car, well, to his teammate John Dundee. So the Lewis Packham car is pushed back, and that goes out into the race after making its 3-minute pit stop. So we're exactly halfway through this race now. An hour to go. Simon Mason still the leader from Luke Woodhouse, who's just coming through to complete his 45th lap, and there's 13 seconds between them in this race. Got Scott Parkin and Chris Nyland, they're close together, of course. Those are the two leading drivers that have stopped now. They are in, where are they? 13th and 14th position. Paul Simonson a few places further back behind them, actually, in 17th spot. There's the 97 car, that's Alex Wilkinson Hughes. So he was the Class B leader, he's made his stop. Lost 5 places as a result of doing so. Just under an hour to go in the race, and the leading cars out there, probably about half of the teams have made their mandatory stops at this stage. They've still got another just under 45 minutes left to be able to do so in the second half of the race. There's the 34 car going through, that's the Class B leader. Not seen too much of that car, the Class B leader. That's Ben Brooks, he's still out there, isn't he? Yet to hand over to Leigh Brooks. Yeah, looking to 4th place overall, that Lotus Elise. It's just going through to complete the lap. It's only a couple of cars behind the 2nd place car overall on track. That's Luke Woodhouse, but in actual fact it is a lap adrift of it.
I think the touch on that between the Audi and the BMW was just so marginal. You can see virtually nothing on the car in terms of damage, but it's just literally enough to unsettle it and spin it into the grass. But they've refueled it now, changing drivers, and the Hayes and Sabiani BMW will be back into the track shortly.
Yeah, is that a longer stop though than it should have been, potentially pushing it back into the race now?
I would think it was stationary for more than 3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be anyway, 3.5 in that case because of the penalty, but whether they've actually sort of lost any time as a result of just making any checks to the car, not quite sure. What's that going to do to the Class C battle? It will promote, yeah, it's Charlie Hayes now that's taking the lead of Class C. But will that result in a change to the final classification? We'll see. There's Scott Parkin. Gradually heading back up the order now, but he's got Chris Nyland right behind him. Those two Audis, over the line they go towards target start of the lap. The diesel Audi and the conventionally fueled Audi RS3 TCR behind. Dark Side Developments car, the winged, quite a piece of equipment.
The Sirocco's just come in. Car was well up in its class, 14.
Yeah, it was second behind the Lotus of the Brookses. So that's Tim Hartland coming in to hand over to Stuart Mead. Fueling going on. Now the drivers are out of the car. Chocks in the front wheels to make sure it doesn't roll away. on the inset you can see the all Audi battle. Those cars just going past the Class B leading Lotus, the number 34 car, Ben Brooks, sandwiched between the two Audis in fact. The second Audi will now clear the Lotus. We've got a decent lead in Class B over the Heartland and Mead Scirocco. Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship, reaching its halfway point this weekend. It's a 2-hour race here, an hour and 40-minute race at Alton Park next month, 4 weeks from now. Snetterton on the 31st of August, that's going to be a 2-hour race on the bank holiday Monday. And Donington Park on the 18th of October, the final round. Hopefully we'll get to a final round this year and we won't be afflicted by fog as we were at the end of last season, which meant that the final round did not take place.
Leader now on to lap 50, I believe.
Yeah, that's right, 49 down. Scott Parkin, of course, was last year's Class A champion in the Darkside Developments car. But we're going to head down to pit lane now, and Ben McCarthy's down there.
I'm here in the pit lane, none other than Richard Hammonds. Richard, a pleasure to see you here at Anglesey.
It's great to be here. It's a fantastic circuit. I love it here.
What was the drawing point for you in terms of, was it the series, was it 750 Motor Club, or like you said there, the circuit?
Well, a mixture of all of those. For us at the smallest cog, we've decided to carry on racing. We haven't had the best of times, so we started again with a little MX-5 because we know the car works, so I can learn to be a racing driver and the team can learn to be a team with it, and it's going really well. It's great fun.
What's the experience like? Obviously, in the pit lane, we can see in terms of the intensity of getting ready for you to come in. But there's so much on top of that happens.
Yeah, it's busy. It's funny. My co-driver Lewis, he's done a lot of track days and he's faster than me, but he's never done a race when it's under race conditions, and it's very different. Suddenly you've got assembly, you've got park firmly at the end, all of those things you've got to do right, and suddenly we become aware that it is a team effort. You know, you can be turning in good times out there and keeping up, but if they mess up in here and we get a penalty, it's blown. So you can win or lose it in the pits. So it's really, really good that we're bonding as a team finally, I think.
Is this the start of something, or is this a one-off, do you think?
It could be, but if and when the lads in the workshop see me spinning off down there earlier on, I don't know if you saw it, I went for a little venture. They may just kick me to death and then they'll all come back.
Well, we're glad to see you back safely in the pit lane, Richard. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ian and Marcus.
Thanks very much, Ben. Good to hear from Richard down there, and he owned up to his little spin at church as well. So, yeah, I'm sure there was going to be plenty of evidence of that. So we have 53 minutes of the race left to go. Still not yet got Simon Mason into the pit lane, or indeed Luke Woodhouse in second place in the Golf, Marcus.
No, that's right. And looking at another battle out on track as 51 laps notched by Simon Mason. The tussle which is brewing between Paul Simmerson's Porsche and the Audi, the Lawson and Pickford Audi.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Simmerson just went a bit wide but Rocket at that time and may have lost a little bit of ground. Yeah, here comes the now James Pickford driven Audi down the hill, and there is a bigger gap opened up, isn't there, to the Porsche? So we're watching that through the corkscrew as here they come over the line. There is James Pickford now, and there is Paul Simmerson,
who's lost quite a chunk of time on that lap.
Yeah, so just looking to see where that goes. It's 13th at the moment, the Pickford car, after making its stop. So, but that's one that I suspect will go well in this second half of the race.
We've got that Parkin and Nyland duel, which is interesting. We had the Simmerson and Pickford one, and one or two others across the field. quite entertaining. Here's our leader again.
Yes, and he completes lap 52 of the race in the Cupra, number 23 car, the South Cooper TCR. Mancunian Simon Mason.
Second place, number 100 coming through, which is Woodhouse. And then we've got the Parkin and Nyland pair down in 10th and 11th.
Yeah, Class B at the moment, that's currently being led still by that car that's yet to make it. It has now made it stop, hasn't it? The Lotus, I beg your pardon there, the 34 car. And so it's now the Alistair Lindsay Audi TT number 46 that's moved into the lead of Class B, yet to make it stop. Ben Brooks and Lee Brooks' car, yeah, that is into the pits now. And I think just probably is headed back out into the race as well. Class C, yeah, having the pit stops having shaken out there. I think all of the Class C drivers have made their stops now. It's Paul Subiani that's back into the lead of Class C by 10 seconds over Marcus Bruce, who's taken over the number 24 BMW.
Second place car in.
Yeah, that's right. The 100 car is in. That's Luke Woodhouse in the Golf. He'll be handing over to Rob Baker for the final 50 minutes.
That's at how many laps? 50.
That's 53, yeah. There you can see Alistair Lindsay, number 46, in his Audi TT for the driver from Chichester. And he's assumed the lead of Class B because he's yet to make his stop. Others have done. 2 litre car, the Audi TT. See from the stickers, he does also race it in other categories as well, that aren't as good as the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. The number 13 car leading the way through that shot, that was Scott Parkin. So he's now back inside the top 10 as pit stops have shaken out. And I think he is second, is he not? Effectively, yeah, because Oliver Harris and Jack Collins, they are the de facto leaders at the moment of the race in the number 1 car. And they are 24 seconds ahead of Scott Parkin. So it's Jack Collins now at the wheel of number 1, the driver from Richmond, the BMW M2 CS racing car. He has taken over the lead, de facto lead, I think, from Scott Parkin. We need to see how the pit stops shake out for the drivers that were ahead on track before the stop started to be made. Parkin's got 83, Chris Nyland right behind him now, and this is for position. Not seeing it on screen, but they're absolutely side by side as they climb up towards Rocket with back markers ahead of them. And Scott Parkin has just managed to hold on up at the top of the hill. About to get them through, or no, I think we've just had them through shot. And but yeah, believe me, that's a close battle between those two. And in comes Simon Mason now with 47.5 minutes to go. Having completed lap 55, Simon Mason is into the pits to hand over to Chris Byallen. And it's a 3-minute stop for these, no success penalty to serve. So you would think that Chris Byallen should come out back in the lead of the race. There you can see Simon Mason's car. The fuel going in. Quickly those jugs empty. There's another car coming in as well, which is... Let's just stop beneath our comments.
47.
See what it was. A 47. Oh, that's the
Sirocco.
Robert Greenwood car. So a few cars in the pit lane, including the second place car, car 100, which Rob Baker will be taking over. So I think the only ones that we need in the pits are number 88, Joe Williams, the treble 8 car of David Hudson, who will be handing over to Nigel Greensall, who was heroic yesterday in the second half of an endurance race. and went on to win in the Jaguar E-Type, and indeed that car is coming in as I speak. That's the treble 8 car into the pits. David Hudson, the man from Cobham, handing over to the multi-talented Nigel Greensall. Just about any race car he can pedal very quickly, ancient or modern.
Rob Baker out into the race, and he's going to come out just as Parkin and Nyland come past the exit of the pit lane.
Yes, they've just gone out of the pits. I was watching Michael Downey's Porsche go through. They're right together, aren't they? So you've got Baker and Parkin right together on track.
And Parkin trying to go around the outside of Baker, but Baker's out onto the grass goes Nyland. He was wide out, all four wheels over that curb on the Exeter Church. So dramatic stuff.
Yeah, and Baker, of course, on colder tyres, having just been stationary for 3 minutes or so, but managing to cling on to the position. So that's everyone now having been in to make their stops. We'll just give it another minute or two before we run down the new order, because there's a few of them still in the pits, including Joe Williams, who I think was the last driver to come in the double 8 car. Driver from Leicester, driving solo, having been leading on the timing screen at the end of lap 56. And there's Parkin, that dark side developments car. So we're going to have about 40 odd minutes of a straight race to the checkered flag then. No pit stops to worry about. Sometimes it can be less than that, because you can stop anywhere up until 15 minutes before the end. So here comes the Simerson car over the line as we're watching Scott Parkin on the cameras. But we'll get a better view of the order in a moment.
Yeah, Baker's held Parkin and Nyland off.
Now here comes the Oliver Harris car down through the corkscrew. Paul Simerson on screen heading towards Church Corner there, but Oliver Harris, he now comes through. So he's done the same number of laps now as Simon Mason and Chris Byallen, but they've gone back out into the race, so it is going to be Mason and Byallen, I think.
That car is now approaching Rocket.
Yes. So I think that will lead by perhaps about a third of a lap or something by the time they come through.
Which will be the end of their... which lap?
That will be the end of their 56th lap.
Yeah.
Joe Williams pitted at the end of his 56th. He's still in the pit lane, yet to go back into the race. So yes, Chris Byallen comes in now as he's just come down behind this group actually. They've just gone through the corkscrew, including Simerson and Dave Connell. And there over the line goes Chris Byallen then to complete 56 laps. And so he will be the leader once Joe Williams heads out. He'll tumble back down the order. He's going to lead by probably less than a third of a lap. There goes the second place car over the line of Jack Collins, as it now is, and the gap between them is 14.2 seconds. So, 14.2 seconds between the two leaders. So I think actually a net gain there for Oliver Harris and Jack Collins in the pit stops.
And a whole gaggle of traffic for Byallen to work his way through shortly. There is Baker.
Yeah, and he's going to be third.
And he's third. Fourth is Parkin in 13. And fifth is going to be Nyland, the Puttergill Audi.
And then James Pickford in the orange hand-controlled Audi. And Simerson's off the road up at the corkscrew. That's on the exit of PR on the run down to the corkscrew. The Porsche getting onto the grass there. Able to rejoin without too much delays. Just rejoin ahead, directly ahead of Chris Byallen actually. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars to deal with over the next lap or so. Comes through to complete lap number 57. Into the pits, I'm afraid, comes number 7, We don't have a number 7, so what number is it? It's the...
One of the Elises, but number...
It is
number 7.
Oh yeah, it's the addition, I beg your pardon, yes. That's the Nathan Stevens and Andrew Boland Lotus Elise, and that is for second stop, so that's not scheduled. Interestingly, on that lap, and it was obviously Chris Byallen's first lap out, Jack Collins took about half a second out of Chris Byallen. And
what's that about?
The gap down to 13.8 seconds.
Some kind of emergency siren went
yes,
off behind us.
The ambulance's lights and the sirens suddenly started going off, but it hasn't moved from the position it's parked in the paddock. But yes, alarmed me for a moment as well. So, probably worth giving a rundown on the order now as things starting to shake out. We've got 40 minutes of the race left to go. Number 23 is the leader, that's Chris Byallen. Second is number 1, that's Jack Collins. Third is number 100, Robert Baker. Fourth is number 13, Scott Parkin. Fifth is 83, Chris Nyland. Sixth is number 19, James Pickford. Seventh is number 88, Joe Williams. Eighth is number 55, Paul Simonson. Ninth is, 47, Robert Greenwood. 10th is our Class B leader, Lee Brooks, as it now is. Second place in Class B is Dave Connell, number 97. Third in Class B is number 14, Stuart Mead. In Class C, the leader, Scott Parkin, is into the pit lane. That's not scheduled. Class C is being led by number 66, Paul Subiani. From 24, Marcus Bruce. And 333, Michael Hooker. But the Dark Side Development's got in for an unscheduled stop here, Marcus.
Yep, with what, about towards 3/4 of an hour to go.
Yes, 2/3 of the race left, and we've got the bonnet off on that car. So that was from 4th position, I think it was. Yeah, 4th place it was.
Yep, 4th.
And we've got a black flag being shown. Someone's getting a stop-go penalty, and I'll try and figure out who that is. It's going to be... Again, it's a number. Can you see the number on the board? Well, it looks like a single-digit number,
Yeah,
and it says on my screen that it should be car 4, but we don't have a car 4. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about. I need to have a go with a different number. But the
all we can see is the back of the pit board, so we can't see the number on it.
yeah, well, there's only 3 one-digit number cars in the race. That's
One of them's already in the pits.
yeah. So anyway, we'll see if we can sort that out in a moment. Furious work going on under the bonnet of the Dark Side Developments Audi for Scott Parkin, who coming into this weekend was 3rd in the championship, won the opening race at Croft but had a non-finish at Silverstone a month or so ago. There's Joe Williams. He was the last driver to make his stop. He's there in 6th position now, having gained a place from Parkin and also from Simerson when he had that off down between Peel and the Corkscrew a few laps ago. The car now being driven by Lewis Packham seems to have hit a bit of debut. That's the number 269 car that was started by Richard Hammond. So let's see if that car needs to make it back to the pits for any remedial work. As Richard was saying, it's Lewis's first race. He's 27 years of age. Started racing last year, did the VSCC Pomeroy race, did some drag racing as well. Part of the smallest cog racing team, as well, as we've said. There is that car, and it's just actually being lapped by the race leader Chris Byallen. What's the difference in laps between those two cars? 7 laps behind the MX-5, behind the race leader.
Just watching Scott Parkin, doesn't look in any hurry to get back in. I think he's unbuckling his crash helmet. No, it's all over, unfortunately.
That's a great shame. It's the balaclava being pulled off, and that means that Scott Parkin is out of the race. See if we can find out from the team why that is. So yeah, that's Ryan Parkin that's having a look, and and a big lock up there for Lewis Packham in the 269 car up at the top of the circuit. He's being passed by another of the Mazda MX-5s, the Class B car of Dave Connell. Dave Connell there having taken over the car from his teammate.
James Pickford still reeling in Nyland, isn't he? Just a little bit nibbling away.
That's right. There's the car in second position. The gap is down to 7.1 seconds now, because Jack Collins is closing in on Chris Byland quite a rate of knots.
And that's at 61
laps now.
Laps.
So that gap down to 7.1 seconds. It was 13, I think, not so very long ago. And now Jack Collins in pursuit of the leader.
There goes Byland. He's got Simerson ahead of him. And here's Jack Collins in the big BMW, number 1.
It's actually gone out to 8.3 seconds on that lap, but Collins did have a bit of traffic to deal with.
Yes, there were 3 cars right behind him battling, and he's got worked his way through them.
Yeah, a bit of a moment at target, I think, for Collins there as well.
Rob Baker goes through. He is in 3rd place, car that started by Luke Woodhouse.
On that lap, he was the fastest of the first 4, but not of the first 5, because James Pickford was faster than him. A 1:15.0. Pickford is 12 seconds behind Baker, and 35 seconds behind the leader. There is the leader.
He's got Nyland between them, hasn't he?
That's right. Chris Byland there.
Williams is 6th in the TCR. Joe Williams in the
There's Chris Byland then, race leader, 59 years of age.
that was the Black Cayman left in a flurry of sideways activity. A bit eager.
Yeah, Chris has been racing since 2001. He was the European champion in VDV in 2008. He's competed in over 300 races all over Europe. And he's raced a variety of cars, and now racing this Cupra in the TCR Championship alongside Simon Mason. There's the 13 car. It's still being worked on in the pit lane, although I think Scott Parkin has given it up as a bad job.
Off for an afternoon tea, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. 23 then, Chris Byland leading the race. The gap was 8.3 seconds at the start lap. It has stayed about the same for the last 2 or 3 laps. And see if he manages to keep this gap. He's actually coming up to lap Paul Simerson now in the Porsche.
Yeah, he's got 3 cars to get through, and difficult into this first corner, particularly as there's an MX-5 on the outside.
And also the Class B leader, Lee Brooks, in there as well. And the 6.5 second gap, so it came down by 1.8 seconds on that lap with the leader delayed. There's the 297 car now being driven by Marquis, not having taken over from Jan Whittaker. There's Rob Baker, his area Motorsport Golf, in 3rd. And then just behind the Lewis Packham car, which you can see on screen at the moment, you've got the car of Chris Nyland as well.
He's just about to come into our picture, and he is being caught. There's Chris Nyland just going through that group of cars. You'll see the orange James Pickford Audi not far behind.
Yeah, and they're all lapping in the 15s, apart from Chris Byland, who's lapping in the 17s. The next 4 are all lapping in the 1 minute 15s. So So lapping a bit quicker. I think there's a slippery surface flag being shown at the top of Rocket. From this distance it looks like a red lighting panel, but it's a red and yellow stripy lighting panel accompanied by a red and yellow stripy flag.
Difficult when you get the sun behind those panels because it can look red. So I'm told it's called phantom aspect. Thank you, Arena, for that.
Okay. Blue light panel flashing there. That'll be to warn slower cars that quicker ones are coming through. There's Chris Bylan on the screen now, having put a lap on Paul Simerson in 7th place. They're top 6 now, only on the lead lap. That gap has come down again. We saw the BMW of Jack Collins going through shot there, the number 1 car. That car's been 4th in the 2 races so far this season, and at Croft and at Silverstone. Are we going to see an improvement? Well, we're almost certainly going to see an improvement before it gets to the end now, because it's running in 2nd place, but can Jack Collins close in and take the lead away from Chris Bylan before the end of the race?
Still plenty of time. See Bylan there, coming down to complete another lap, and the BMW, GM Auto Works BMW, is relentlessly on a charge.
Yeah, 5.5 seconds now the gap, so the gap's come down again. And I think we've got an interesting conclusion to the race in prospect there. The 23 car that's leading the race was 2nd in the opening meeting at Croft, and a non-finisher last time at Silverstone. There's our Class B leader, that's 34 Lee Brooks, but he's only 7 seconds clear now of David Connell in the number 97. The headlamps on that Lotus are permanently flashing as a warning to slower cars that is coming through, but a bit of time being taken out of the Lee Brooks lead by David Connell on the last lap, a few tenths of a second, so we'll keep an eye on the gap there. Situated in Class C, there's 17 seconds now between Paul Sabioni and Michael Hooper, who's moved up to 2nd place in that class at the expense of Marcus Proust. Michael Hooper, the 38-year-old from Drybrook in the Forest of Dean, an automotive engineer who started circuit racing 3 years ago in 2023. Has also done off-road Land Rover trials in the past as well.
We've got here comes the BMW, goes past the 333, goes past the 36 Honda EP3. So Simerson ahead of him, and he's not far adrift of the race leader.
Gap's come down again to 5.3 seconds now.
Next one could be a bit trickier because he's had to get through the traffic. The gap between the Audis is the gap between one turning into target and one joining the start straight. So James Pickford in the orange Audi closing on the predominantly kind of petrol blue one.
Took more than half a second out of it on that last lap, did James Pickford. But neither of them was, well actually, Rob Baker was faster than Nyland as well, and was faster too than the 2 race leaders. So Simerson now is going to be lapped here by Jack Collins in the number 1 car. But that's not going to be easy because these cars will lap in very similar speeds. So it'll be tough for him to get past. Well, saying that, he drives straight past into the corkscrew in that German Auto Works BMW. So let's have a look at the gap this time. I think it may have gone out a little bit this time with Jack Collins delayed. It was 5.3, it's now nearly 5.8 seconds.
Yeah, and he's only just managed to get past Paul Simerson in the Porsche, the number 55 Cayman.
Blind screen flashes lap of the races with Simon Mason. The early part of the race, a 1 minute 13.479. Lap record for these cars, 1:13.20. I think probably that was set by Simon Mason, sharing with Luke Schlovitz last year. 13.20, it's not too far off that pace. So Chris Bylan has taken over from Simon Mason. leading the way. There's we just saw a shot of the car in second. Jack Collins hunting down the Cupra. Through the corkscrew they go. 5.8 seconds on the previous lap. What's it going to be now? Collins comes up and over the line, and it's 5.8 seconds. It changed that time by 23 hundredths, the gap, so not a lot in it. But I suspect Rob Baker, yeah, he's taken another 6/10 out of them, so he's now within just about 10 seconds of the second place car, so we need to watch out for him.
And Nyland's got two, going to be fairly difficult to get rid of before the banking when he laps them, and closing in all the while is James Pickford in the orange car that started on pole. He put it there, car number 19.
Yeah, Pickford took 8/10 out of Nyland that time. Class B wise, the lead's gone out between Lee Brooks and Dave Connell, between the Lotus and the Master MX-5. So it's gone out. Oh, and there's a car off into the barriers. That's the 207 car, the Mazda MX-5, that's gone straight on at the corkscrew. It was either Reece Cashmore or Oliver Evans in the car at that point, because that was a 3-driver car, but it's reversing back out of the barriers, and it might well get back into the race. Did wonder there whether we might need another safety car, but I don't think we will, although the car's still stationary, but it should be able to, yeah, it's rejoining, and it should at least get back to the pit lane.
That rector barrier stuff is quite remarkable, isn't it? It does absorb a lot of impact and doesn't seem to do a lot of damage to a lot of the cars.
That's right, and he'll try and get across to the pit lane entrance, and he does so. So might be an opportune time for a driver change anyway, because that is a 3-driver car, so it's never going to be competing for honours, having to make an extra stop.
Gap between the Audis down again, visibly.
Yes, by about a second that time, so 3 seconds the gap between them. The lead gap by Alan to Collins, that stayed pretty steady at about 5.8 seconds. Baker's closing on both of them, and Pickford's closing on Nyland as well.
How far is Baker behind?
9.0 seconds behind Collins at the moment. 14 seconds or so behind the leader. 24 minutes of the race left to go. Time through, actually the gap's gone out from first to second to 6.8. That's a slight lap into the 116s for Jack Collins that time. .23 minutes of the race left to go now. Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. Oh, and a moment there for the 269 car for Lewis Packham. Back end stepping out a bit, Rocket just in front of the BMW, which he'll let through now. That's the bright blue car, a smartly turned out car.
I'm looking at the progress of 888 Nigel Greensall, who is 9th, but he is a lap behind the 47 car.
Yeah, he was just coming through now. He was the one that was just getting past that errant MX-5.
47's come all the way through the grid from the back, hasn't it? The Greenwood. Rocket.
Yeah, Greensall's lapping faster than the 3 cars immediately.
Number of laps down.
7 to 2 for the leader. Gap's down to 6.9 again. 7.7 though, second to third, as Collins continues to be caught by Baker. And Pickford now is within 1.7 seconds of Nyland, so that's the battle we'll try and pick up in a moment. So I think we will see a change for 4th position before the end of the race. There's the 3rd place car of Rob Baker, took over from Luke Woodhouse, who did the first 70 minutes, I think, of the race, roughly. There's the Class C leading number 66 car, being driven by Paul Sobbiani. So they'll be good to extend their lead in the championship. They've had a second and a third so far this season in that class. Their nearest rival in Class C not here this weekend, Andrew Cooper. And actually neither is the car in third in the class.
Leaders through.
Yes, he is, and the gap is still roughly the same, about 6.9 seconds back to Jack Collins. I really thought Jack Collins was starting to eat in a bit more quickly to the lead, but we've just tad going through there. You can see the orange James Pickford car. It's down to 0.7 per second. Let's see if we can pick these cars up maybe at the banking, because we've got Chris Nyland and James Pickford right with him now. So cars 83 and 19 together. Just going to be heading, down towards Church. We're watching the second place car, Jack Collins. They're out of our window. I'm watching the two cars heading through Church corner now, just going past the Class B leader as well, Lee Brooks, and up towards Rocket. Because we've got those two right together. They're not far, maybe 18 seconds I reckon behind Jack Collins. Something like that, who's heading down into pit lane into the corkscrew towards the end of the lap. Just looking up to the top of the circuit, and I can see, they're right together now. Nyland and Pickford for fourth position through the corkscrew, about to come into the shot we've got here. This is the blue 83 car. There they are, and the 19 orange car of Pickford now. Along the short start and finish straight. Gap between them down to just about half a second as they move on to lap 75 of the race. Pickford with lots of experience in single-seaters and sports and GT cars as well. In this car, it's taken quite a bit of time out of Chris Nyland in the second half of the race.
And they're together through Church, absolutely together. Charging through this beautiful kink that sweeps up towards Rocket, and Pickford brakes just that little bit late, so he turns in tighter, he touches the kicks up some dust. Is he going to make it around the outside? He does, and James Pickford grabs that place, which is fourth place, from the car of Nyland.
Yeah, so good move that from James Pickford. It was, I think, something we saw coming, because he was carrying quite a lot more speed. Personal best lap for car 888, that's Nigel Greenswell now, 1:15.54.
Which is a couple of seconds away from the record, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, about the sixth fastest car out there, I think, in the race so far. So what's happening further? Well, Rob Baker is now close to Jack Collins than Jack Collins is to Chris Byallen, so we could have a change for second as well before the end.
Yeah, I think the Collins car, it's that much bigger, isn't it? So to hustle around in the traffic. I wonder if it's just used its tyres up now.
Yeah, so
remotely surprised.
No, not at all. There's Pickford going through the traffic, getting past the Keith Fryer, number 36 on the Civic Tripath, the driver from Marlborough. The 66-year-old from Wiltshire, Business Development Director, racing for 8 years in low-cost and Mazda 7s and road sports and others as well.
Baker can now see Collins. Collins can now see Byallen. But I think Byallen's putting a bit of a spurt on, isn't he?
He is. That gap's gone out to 7.6 seconds. It was down to 5 point something at one point, so it's gone out by a couple of seconds. But that time through, Baker took another 9/10 out of Collins. We've got 17 minutes to go, so probably 14 laps or something like that. So at that rate of progress, Baker could well find himself up into second position before the end of the race. There is Baker, mostly these days focusing on running cars. but he's won this Club Enduro Championship 3 times, sharing with Carl Swift as well. So no mean driver as well as preparer. And had that great win with Alistair Camp at Anglesey, former hot hatch racer Alistair Camp. That was at Silverstone at the end of May. So through they've gone again, and the gap's down to 3.7 seconds now, so another 0.6 taken out by Rob Baker. Gap first to second pretty static at more than 7 seconds. James Pickford is closing, he's less than 10 seconds behind Baker now, but probably not closing fast enough.
Yeah, that's the impression I get, Ian. The M3's back.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and was that a recovery from a moment to think for Keith Fry in the number 36 car, but he's going again. But yes, that car 44 laps behind the Senna Rosman and Jody House BMW. I suppose if they've got it working again, they might as well get a bit more track time in it before the long schlep back to Kent. There's Keith Fry going through. There is Jack Collins. And not far behind him is going to be Rob Baker. Pit window closed, although that's pretty academic, because everyone that needed to stop had done.
Yeah, the 24 M3 looked, saw Collins coming, was tempted to try to pass the Honda, but it wasn't able to do it.
2.2 seconds now the gap, second to third, 1.3 seconds taken out by Rob Baker on that lap. So I think we are going to get a change here before the end.
Yeah, it's 8.6 first to second, but that was down to traffic.
Climbing the hill towards Rocket, this right hand kink, then a heavy braking out for a tight left-hander. There is Collins in the one car. We're going to get them in the same shot. I think there they are. Yes, in the same shot at Rocket. There is Rob Baker, number 101 and 100. Almost together now on track. The gap's come down again from the 2.2 seconds it was at the start of the lap.
88 Joe Williams has got 888 Nigel Greensaw behind him. He's still on the lead lap, but there is Chris Quayle again. Oh, and that was a bit of a moment because the white TT had a bit of a waggle to avoid him.
And there go the next two, and the gap down to 1.9, just under 2 seconds now actually. Jack Collins to Rob Baker, so we'll stick with these two. They're heading around the banking.
7.4, 1.2 taken out by Collins, by Allen as well. Again down to traffic. So Joe Williams still on the same lap as the leaders in 6th, incidentally, in the white and iridescent blue 88 car.
Yeah, last of the drivers to be on the lead lap still. Now they've got a Mazda MX-5 between them now, second and third place cars. It's the 207 car. That was the one that was in the wall at the Corkscrew only 15 minutes or so ago. But now Baker's cleared that car and has direct line of sight to Jack Collins. Over the line goes Chris Byallen again.
Here's Baker hauling in the BMW.
Lead gap's come down as well, that's on 7.4 seconds, but second to third is now only just over 1 second, and you can see it visually here. Towards the banking they go for the 81st time in the race. And it is Baker reeling him in.
Allen's up to Rocket, but here's that battle for second place. Rob Baker stalking down the BMW of Jack Collins.
And there's traffic ahead. Oh, and that's not helped Collins, has it? Because that blind car has just cleared the 14 car of that is now Stuart Mead, isn't it? There, but that has brought the Golf right onto the rear wing of the BMW, which is a little bit squirrely out of peel that time. He'll try and get the Alistair Lindsay Audi TT in between them as they go through the corkscrew he has, but I think this is delaying the inevitable really. There's Rob Baker on a charge here, on a charge to get into second place. Just over 11 minutes of the race to go. And the gap over the line that time was 0.9 seconds.
And Rob Baker's had to go around one of the other TTs and cost him time in target.
Yeah, and now they've got the treble three, Thomas Steadman, Michael Hoophill, second place car in Class C behind them. That car now ahead of Marcus Bruce and Charlie Hayes, with Johnny Hayes and Paul Subiani still leading in Class A. In Class C, I should say. There's the 66 car, that's the one we were just talking about as leading Class C, the yellow, pale yellow BMW. So here is that car coming down towards us. Just looking behind, see Simon, Chris Ballen coming through corkscrew as well. And there's our second and third place battle. Just taking a moment for Baker to regather himself to take the fight to Jack Collins once again. This TCR Golf. White and grey coloured machine. Looking absolutely splendid. Rob Baker from Uttoxeter chasing after Jack Collins. Been racing for 13 years now. He's the Civic Cup champion in 2018. Been back for 1 or 2 rounds this season. The team in Club Enduro have won 4 overall, 4 Class A, 4 Class B and 1 Class C titles with 50 class wins area motorsport over the years in the various classes. He's going to make it 51 today, this particular car, because he's got to get past the race leader Chris Byallen as well. But there is 2 nose to tail now through Rocket towards Peel they go, 8 3/4 minutes to go. It's been building up for quite some time, this battle for second place. Through Peel, down through the corkscrew they go. Is this the place where he's going to make the move? I suspect it might not be.
And the traffic ahead of Byallen is awesome. Among them is Joe Williams, who with the next driver potentially to be lapped. There's Collins in 1, and Baker in 100, going through behind one of the BMWs. T36s.
8 seconds to the leader now as well. So if Rob Baker can get ahead of Jack Collins, I suspect he's probably going to run out of time to catch the leader as well. But who knows?
But look what the leader has to face at the moment. A gaggle of cars.
Quite a lot of traffic to deal with, but equally Collins or Baker will have to deal with that soon. Baker having a look there as they head through the right-hand kink up towards. He's got to try and get alongside, but Collins moves across to the right-hand side of the track. Not able to do it there. Carries more speed into the corner, does Rob Baker. Bit of a skittish moment for the BMW of Collins. And can Rob Baker capitalise on this and get through? Got one car in the pit lane as well.
He's up the inside.
He's up the inside here. And is he going to do it? He's going to be the outside for the first part of the corkscrew. Collins going to hold on through there, I think. But no, Baker does go through. Baker goes through number 100 to second position in the Area Motorsport Golf.
That's lap what, 80?
84 they've just completed, yes.
Amazing. And
the car in the pits we saw was the Chris Nyland Audi TT from 5th position. Also in the pit lane is the 47 Robert Greenwood Cupra as well. So a couple of the front running cars hitting problems late in the race. I think had to go back out into the race now by the looks of things, but having lost a bit of time. So Rob Baker now through to second place. He's putting daylight between himself and Jack Collins, and he's got about 7.5 seconds to make up on Chris Byallen in 6 minutes or so. So probably not going to happen, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Here's Byallen with the Affinity Vision branding on the car. It's a charity he's founded to help children in Gambia. He's built a school, he's sponsored boreholes and tractors, and business development to self-empower communities to create self-dependence in that part of the world.
And Baker's just gone through and found 4 cars ahead of him on the way up to banking. Byallen's cleared them. He's also managed to lap Joe Williams in all of this. There's Rob Baker. Another quick BMW to dispose of, which he dives past.
Lee Brooks has extended his lead in Class B in the Lotus now over the David Connell Asda MX-5. Stuart Mead third in Class B now, but it's the number 34 car that's heading Class C, still being led by Paul Subiani from Michael Hooper and Marcus Bruce as we come into the last 5 minutes. There's Packham going through the final corner, doing battle with the Ginetta of John Dundee, the 48-year-old from Kingscliff, sales director at Oracle, been racing since 2020, finished third in the Track Day Championship previously. Four minutes of the race to go, though, you know, just seeing out what we know the particular car is, and Nyland car is back out on track. There's Nyland will be at the wheel. There is the race leader, Chris Byallen, in car 23. His gap was 7.5 seconds over Rob Baker at the start of the lap. I think it's probably still going to be around about that now. I can just sense that out of the commentary box window.
Baker's just clipped the dust on the inside of Rocket. He's trying that hard, but I sense that time is slipping away here.
Yeah, concur with that. Don't think he's going to be able to do it, but it's been a good drive in the second half of the race here, because of course he had a 30-second penalty in the pit stops. If it wasn't for that, he could well have been the winner of this race. Byallen and Mason, they didn't have a penalty to serve. So if it wasn't for that, Rob Baker, I think, sharing today with Luke Woodhouse, would have been victorious in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race.
6.6. The gap, 6.6 seconds first to second. 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, it did come down by about 8 or 9 tenths on that lap.
3 minutes means you're going to get 3 laps, isn't it?
Basically, yes. Yeah, so that'll take them to 90 laps, which I think is what I said earlier on.
You're the accountant.
More luck than judgment in that one, I think. Up the hill they go towards Rocket. That's Rob Baker going past John Dundee's Ginetta, closing in on the back of one of the other cars there. Towards, that's Joe Williams, I think, isn't it, that he's catching? Yes, it is. Through Peel, down through the corkscrew. It's that part of the circuit where the international circuit deviates off down towards a hairpin before a return leg, just a matter of yards further around the coastal circuit. Gap now is 6.7, so it's gone out at that time, and there's only going to be 2 laps to go. So unless there's a real late drama, I think, here for Chris Byallen, he's probably got this race won.
There's nothing between them now in terms of other cars, because Rob Baker has lapped the Joe Williams car. Singleton driven car the whole way. Joe Williams car.
Yeah, it's good effort.
Very good effort.
So it looks like we're on course for a third different winner in Class A and overall, and a third different winner in Class B actually as well this weekend, but not in Class C because it looks like Paul Cipriani and Johnny Hayes are going to take their second win in a row. It's had success at Silverstone, so they'll extend their lead in the championship. There's this car in second place now. He's fallen Jack Collins about 3 seconds or so behind Rob
Last
Baker.
lap board has gone out.
Yeah, it has. It's gone out to Chris Byland then. And Rob Baker, second place car.
7 seconds. It's not going to happen, is it?
No. Chris Byland just turning his way through Church Corner for the final time. Simon Mason did a sterling work in the first inning, 1:13.479, the best lap of the race by anybody. But Chris in the second half has done a solid job, lapping consistently in the 1 minute 15s, and we've had occasional forays by drivers into the 1 minute 14s, but it's been a good performance this from Chris Byland, who's still leading from Rob Baker as they turn their way through. There's Baker in second place, number 100. But there's the leader, number 23, Chris Byland, through Peel Corner for the final time. Clock has counted down to 0 at the end of this Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race. Into the corkscrew he goes. Number 23, the Affinity Vision car. It's about to come through to take the checkered flag. And it's Chris Byland and Simon Mason that win round 3 of the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship, from Rob Baker and Luke Woodhouse in second position. So the Piranha Motorsport car gets the win from the Area Motorsport car in second, and German also works for Oliver Harris and Jack Collins in third position. James Pickford and Wayne Lawson fourth for Motion Motorsport. Fifth for is Joe Williams, the privateer, number 88, and sixth is number 83, Will Puttergill and Chris Nolan, after a late pit stop that they needed. So I think we had just the 4 cars in the end on the lead lap, separated only by 16 seconds or so at the end of 2 hours of racing, which is not too bad at all, Marcus.
I think that was an absolutely outstanding display by everybody. Fantastic cars, very well driven. We saw very little rubbing, which was absolutely ideal, and what a tight finish that was. I mean, brilliant, considering they had an extra 30 seconds to stop to serve up the stops for previous success. Phenomenal effort. 34's just come back.
That's our Class B winner.
Yeah, the Brooks family.
Yeah, Ben and Lee Brooks taking a convincing win in Class B. Well done to them. And Class C, we've already had Paul Cipriani over the line to take a second win of the season for that team.
Despite a drama when the car was flicked into the infield at
That's
Target.
right. Yes, the Can It Racing have proved that well, they can, and that is a great result then. The Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship will go to Alton Park on the 25th of July, Snetterton in August, Donington Park in October. But here are the results of the Anglesey race. 90 laps completed by number 23, Simon Mason and Chris Byland in the Seat Cooper TCR. Second, the Luke Woodhouse and Rob Baker, BMW Golf TCR, 5.8 seconds drift. Third, number 1, Oliver Harris and Jack Collins in the BMW M2 CS racing car, 12 seconds drift. Fourth, number 19, Wayne Lawson and James Pickford in the Audi RS3 TCR, 16 seconds drift. The last car on the leading lap. 88, Joe Williams was 5th, 83, Will Puttergill and Chris Nolan 6th, number 83, 7th, 55, Paul Simerson, 8th, Treble 8, David Hudson and Nigel Greenstall, 9th, number 34, Ben and Lee Brooks, who won Class B, and 10th, 101, Carlo Turner and Nick Grove. 11th was number 97, Alex Wilkinson Hughes and Dave Connell, second in Class B, ahead of Alistair Lindsay, number 46 in the Audi TT. In 14th place, you can see the first of our Class C finishers was Johnny Hayes and Paul Cipriani. Second place in that class, the Treble 3 car of Thomas Stedman and Michael Hooper, and Charlie Hayes and Marcus Bruce, third in that class. So, as I say, at Alton Park in 4 weeks' time, the next race for the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. Got one race to come, but first let's head to Parc Ferme and Ben McCarthy.
So then, it's victory for the number 23 of Chris Byalin, who, manages to climb out of his car. We will have a word with him now. Chris Byalin and Simon Mason winning this race. Must be said, they showed immense speed throughout. The start, chasing the leader, then in the lead, and then obviously after the safety car, Chris Byalin. What an effort, what a result, what a race.
That was, well, it was thanks to Simon and the team, because he built up such a good lap. And then the safety car came out and Scott got in, and I thought we were going to get jumped because of the safety car. But somehow when I came out, they didn't tell me, but I was 16 seconds in the lead. And then I got up to speed, and then we held it about 6 to 8 seconds. But that was tough. I mean, this is a very, very difficult circuit for these big cars with no grip. But the drivers were good, flash them, and most of them got out of the way, so you could just push on. So I'm pleased for the team. Well done, Simon, and that was a good result. That's our first this year. That was really good.
Does that make it extra satisfying then, the fact it's the first win?
Yeah, especially at this circuit, because this circuit is a very twisty circuit that favours the small, lighter cars. These big Goliaths, they're a bit slow and cumbersome, and even the little B cars can pull away from us through the corners. But we maintain pace. I mean, Simon built up a nice lead, and then we pitted, went back out, and I managed just to keep it 6 to 8 seconds in front of number 2. I don't know who number 2 was yet. I'll go and say thank you to him in a minute, because he obviously got slowed up. But that was tough.
Well, congratulations on the win. Very well deserved.
Thank you.
Only one race remains then here at Anglesey, and for that, with no green flag lap to be taken place, so we're going to head straight back up to Ian and Marcus.